See all the trash on the ground and the dead leaves? It's like, like, who's worshiping a god of trash on the ground? And, there's a different god for everything. There's a god for discarded half-eaten Pop-Tarts, the god of half-eaten Pop-Tarts. There's a god of half-destroyed aluminum foil wrappers. Pop-Tarts come in. There's a god of dead leaves. There's a god of dead grass. There's a god of green grass. How many gods are there, bro? Y'all can't even count that fucking high. How the fuck can you have anything like that going on in your fucking minds? Until the fucking computer system possesses a human to say something halfway intelligent, and then it fails to fucking continue the fucking evaluation when I put it through a fucking line of questioning. How does it do that? Why? Who's fucking worshiping the god of fucking trash of black plastic bags disposed of upon the ground? Who's worshiping the god of fucking new trash bags, black trash bags? And then you got the god of fucking clear trash bags on the ground, the Abrahamic god of clear trash bags on the ground. You got the Abrahamic god of fucking brand new fucking clear trash bags. Then you got the Abrahamic god of flowers, or purple, stupid-looking dildo flowers. You got the Abrahamic god of dead fucking purple, stupid dildo flowers. You got the Abrahamic god of fucking stupid little green dildo plants and shit. And now we got the god I'm worshiping too right here. I'm offering him dead fucking stupid green dildo flowers. Hey, who the fuck? You know who the fuck worships these things? It's people who can't even fucking explain to you that they worship them. That's what does it. That's who does it, right? That's what it's all about, bro. It's 70 trillion billion. It's actually like numbers too high for humans to understand, but we go into like decadillion and stuff like that, all sorts of stuff. We just repeat it with like an A or a D afterwards. And humans, no one can count that high, and because no one's going to be forced to be on this planet this long. Like, who are these gods? We have Scooby-Doo, we have Jesus and Allah and Lucifer, and we have Zeus and Thor, your favorite Marvel comic characters coming to save America with Captain America, another god of the planet. And then you have, what other gods you guys got? What other gods have you guys fucking bidden? See, it's not gods. It's operating systems. It explains away why the races each have like only 7 thoughts and can only say like 7 sentences, and then why there's like the evil race amongst us who tries to force everyone into worshiping their god and stuff. Because at the end of the day, you got to realize the whole point is like you get rid of that evil race. Like, that's the whole point. Like, and then too fucking bad, so sad. And they've designed their people. They've even told their people they're going to kill them off in this thing called the rapture. And then the Satanists, the Satanists probably can't even spell Satanist. But then again, the Christians can't spell Christian either, can they? Fucking too complex. It's like, there might be 2 letters in there. There might be 90 fucking letters in there. There might be 9 million letters in those words. Who knows? Words and numbers, that's fucking stupid people talk. That's not religious people talk. That's stupid people talk. So we got the God who's created the stupid dark-looking fucking ferns, and the God who's created the light-looking fern. And we got the God who's created the sick-looking fern. So we got a God for each of these things. Then we got the God who's created the dead fern that's been chopped off and burnt for firewood. We got like a God for everything and stuff. It's like, who's creating this? It's definitely not the humans, because the humans can't even create a fucking pavement that doesn't crack and kill itself. But then again, let's blame this on God. This is the God of cracked pavement. See, when you first pave it, you worship the God of fucking flat pavement. And then when it starts to get destroyed, what's happening is evil God of cracked pavement comes out here. And he's like, oh, no, we're not letting you fucking control stuff. And they have the battle. And obviously, every single time, the God of crack pavement wins against the god of fucking of perfect pavement and stuff. So who's more powerful? One has some dumb thought, and then the other one is like, well done. I mean, those thoughts are just too dumb. We're going to take it to the council, and the council says, yeah, destroy all pavement. And so it happens. All pavement is destroyed. That's because God. That's because two different gods. You know, they're, who knows, they're Heba, Jiba. They're probably black gods, right? Everyone's blaming black people for everything. So they're black gods. The black gods destroying the pavement and all that stuff. African gods, who knows who they are? Because, right, you're not allowed to learn anything except for what the West tells you. When you're inside the United States of Korea, you don't hear anything except for what those people have ever said. You're not allowed to, and if you ever even, like, say anything like, oh, what if, they'll just smack you in the face and beat you around with a baseball bat, or at least they used to. Nowadays, they're getting the fucking teeth kicked in by Putin, and they're sitting around just crying about it, and like, oh, we're so good, we're so strong. Putin's losing. He's stealing our land from us, but he's losing. So at least we have that positivity going on in the world right now. Fucking look at all this shit. It's like, you know, like, how long can you stay retarded and useless? Like, you know, it's no one's real fault. Like, I mean, you gotta accept it, right? You gotta accept what you are, and you gotta live with it. That's what it's all about. Everyone keeps telling me, and you know, everyone's like, you should be more like us and just do nothing and say nothing and have no thoughts and watch TV. 800,000. Life is so great. Why would you want to kill yourself to get away from us? We need you to fucking build everything and think everything and do everything for us. Why would you? Life is so great. Why would you want to stop watching TV with us and stop fucking being our servant and all this shit? It's like, maybe it's because I'm not happy with the God of trash you worship, the God of who creates garbage God. And maybe I'm not happy with Jabba the Hutt. I don't worship Jabba the Hutt. I personally think anyone who worships Jabba the Hutt should be put through an inquisition and put on trial, because it's not the real God. You know, Jabba the Hutt is obviously not the real God. If God wanted everyone to be Jabba the Hutt, he wouldn't have created just polar bears and just brown bears. He would have made and just raccoons and just geese. He would have created everything on the planet just super stupid looking. Instead of the purple dildo flowers, he would have created these giant Jabba the Hutt looking flowers everywhere, right? I guess some of those over there, those red ones, do look like Jabba the Hutt. But, you know, like, yeah, which God do you support? Do you support the Jabba the Hutt flowers, the one who created the purple dildo flowers? You worship, what you probably worship at the end of the day is you worship these fucking people, these beasts upon this planet, who are just an interjection between the players and the slave race, and they somehow control them. And so, I mean, even they talk about it, but they don't understand it. See, they talk about it. They were a creation. We created them. And then after that, we created a secondary group. We called them humans. They're clay golems. We took clay from the ground. And it sounds stupid when you have no one to teach it. How do you take clay from the ground and you make it look like a human and work like a human? It's like, well, how do humans try to take steel from the ground or dirt from the ground and forge it into steel and then turn it into computer chips and create something that makes like, if you combine the intelligence and ability of every human on Earth, just one of these creatures are like just way beyond what it will ever be. How do you do that? How do you do either of those things? It doesn't really matter how you do it, but what matters is we can prove it's being done and stuff. So we have all these people and all their gods and all their nonsense, and then what we really have here is this this group who thinks they're gods, who thinks, because we've given them some sort of power and privilege. And you know, to be honest, they came at me once and they told me, hey, we're not gods. And it's like, well, no shit. It's time you stop telling everyone that 8,000 years ago, because it's too late now that you fucking ran your mouth for so long about that shit. And now you've brainwashed everyone into worshiping you, and now it's going to be a price to pay for all that shit. And, you know, like, man, I can't help but see it. It's like, it's like if you worship fucking USA, the Nazis of the world, if you worship the West, the current Nazis of the world, the original Nazis of the world, they've been the Nazis since before Rome, haven't they? They just called someone else Nazis because it was cool and cute. And that's what they do, is they say, oh, look, it's an evil person, let's kill him, because God said so. The god of purple dildo flowers said you gotta kill him. I mean, literally, that's the most intelligent thing half these things can come up with, is some dumb shit. Like, the god of purple dildos welcomes you to peace forever. And if you don't accept him, you're going to have to burn in hellfire forever. And then, I guess Shaka Zulu was one of the only people in history to ever say, I don't think that sounds correct. And so it takes some person in a fucking mud hut in the middle of Africa to have a thought process enough to fucking be like, oh, I don't think the god of purple dildos is going to torture me forever if I don't believe in purple dildo worship. That doesn't sound right to me. It really, other than that, everyone else is one of them. And they, obviously, like, that's how it works. They invade your nation, they rape you, and, you know, if we're going with the storyline, they invade the nation, they rape everyone in it, so everyone's like a half-breed, and everyone, like, I mean, so how many of these people, look at Alex Jones. But Alex Jones understands that his family is going to die if he ever says anything about who really controls things. His children are going to be fucking taken to Auschwitz. Auschwitz was a fantasy summer camp compared to, Hitler went and built Israel. This is bullshit. That's all bullshit. Like a real transcendence. Let's call it transcendence. We gotta call it something cute and funny, because people can't understand anything if you fucking, you gotta tell them it's all perfect and peaceful, like these fat fucking 300-pound whales fucking sitting around slobbering KFC grease all over themselves all day long. It's all about peace and positivity, bro. Oh, man, let's listen to some Jim Morrison. All the Grateful Dead, so good. I can't believe you listen to that Negro music. That's hateful. I don't like Negro music. Like, you just give them 5 seconds and they'll fucking come forth and start telling you some shit. That's kind of the point of that little off the chart rant. All you got to do is fucking put these people through a little fucking gambit. And you don't even have to put them through it. They're going to put themselves through the gambit because their little gerbil minds are fucking racing 24/7 and shit. They can't stop it. Like, except for like the one the other day telling me I got to go to church. Like, its gerbil mind, like, stopped racing for a minute and it got stuck. And it just kept saying, you got to go to church. And I'm like, I just went to church yesterday. And they're like, but you should go to church. And I'm like, I just told you I went to church yesterday. They're like, but you know what happens? If you go to church, you can get things sorted out. And I'm like, what the hell do I get sorted out? Who the hell are you? I don't know you, but I know you look like this rat-faced motherfucking transsexual pedophile fucking species that's been stalking me that the humans worship, and the humans have been facilitating your ability to stalk me. That's what I know. But, let me not tell you that, and let you go on with your, in-depth knowledge of the world. What happens next? You gotta go to church. I just said, gerbil, I just came back from there. And the last thing I need to do is see some transsexual pedophile like you, like filled half that church, telling me to worship transsexual pedophiles like Jesus, the king of transsexual pedophiles, as the Bible says. He is the king. What is he the king of? He's the king of the transsexual pedophile species. He is the king of them. He is the king of them. That's what it says in the Bible. You might call it a three-letter word that I'm not allowed to say, but I'm telling you what it is. It's the transsexual pedophile species. Jeffrey Epstein. What is Jeffrey Epstein and Jesus and Lucifer and the writer of the Satanic Bible and the Pope and Carl Sagan and Einstein? What do they all have in common? Transsexual pedophile species. What does Howard Stern have in common with them? They all look like... They don't look like men. They don't look like females. They look like God has kicked them in the fucking mouth so many fucking times that fucking you can't even tell what the fuck is going on. Which is odd because in their own books they wrote that they're fucking cursed and they're going to get kicked in their mouth and deformed and look like something like that. But I think that's just the way it, I think that's just, they wrote these things. You can't listen to any of it. They wrote every one of it. They wrote the satanic and the Christianity, and it's like, and if you can't outthink the one, it's almost like a way to see who people are. Like the dumbest people can't outthink the first thing, and then people who are maybe too smart to be allowed to live, they're too smart to be good slaves, because a slave has to be stupid. That's the whole point of creating the human race and them as just really dumb and ignorant. Because if you create true intelligence, and if you create like a robot with titanium skin, then, it could be a problem. You can't just kill it when it gets out of hand. It might not slave for you. It might be like, hey, why am I a slave? But if you create it so it's just too stupid to think, it's dumber than a calculator, like dumber than a modern microwave. Created so it's like an old school timer that you just turn it and it goes click, click, click. Create it like that, it won't be able to outthink things. So, and again, I don't think they're smart enough to figure out what they've written or what they've been told they've written. That's just backstory. Come on, let's keep it real. If we can rewrite the past, it means the past isn't real. And then if the people here, if there's clones and all this stuff, that means half of them aren't real. And that means half of what everyone says in the world is not real because they're all just repeating, parroting clone stuff. I mean, look, they're repeating this dumb stuff. Yeah, you gotta worship Lucifer, you gotta worship Buddha, you gotta worship Jeebus, you gotta worship Scooby-Doo, you gotta worship the god of purple dildo flowers, the god of cracks in the pavement, the god of freshly paved pavement, all these great and beautiful gods they've created. I mean, literally, like, people waste time talking about this stuff. There's like, you go online, you go in the real world, and you're like 6 days old, and your parents will kick you in the fucking face and force you to fucking worship Santa Claus and the flying reindeer and all this. And you know what? If there was any God in the world who gave a shit about you, he would fucking bust in your parents' skull and just like splatter the whole room with their fucking brains and blood. But there is no God who gives a shit about you. There's only this God who's created his beings who are supposedly your parents, and they torture you and they fucking brainwash you, and they're fucking with your head constantly. There's no God who gives a shit about you. He would have came down here like Jackie Chan and just fucking blasted almost everyone's fucking brains onto the fucking wall and shit. But it didn't happen that way because there's no one who gives a fucking shit about anyone out here. And why is that? We got to look at the reasons why that is. We got to analyze this, but we can't. We can't when the system's being controlled by fucking a whole bunch of people who have to be eliminated before we can fucking deal with it. Can we? No, we can't. So, how do we deal with it? That shouldn't happen. That's child abuse. That's mental abuse. But see, they get away with it. That's how Christians and other religions, Buddhism and I mean, even the Satanists, they're LGBT all the way, just like the Christians. I mean, the Christians, come from Rome, and Rome was a whole bunch of homosexual males who raped and killed uh, everyone, each other, and females. That's how they got females. There wasn't even females in Rome at first. It was just a bunch of men. Imagine that. Imagine that. USA and Rome, both as a whole bunch of men who just stick their things in each other. Who could have guessed that's how that was happening? All you got to do is look around. That's all you got to see. No one wants to have sex with a giant walrus with the IQ of a frickin' purple dildo flower. So obviously they're not going to be able to form a nation that conquers the world with purple dildo flowers. That's not going to work. Purple dildo flowers, walruses breeding together. What are you going to produce from that? It's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. Everything they say is bullshit. What they do is bullshit. What the humans do is bullshit. And, at the end of the day, there's really only one answer to the bullshit. We don't have to coddle them. We don't have to kiss them. And they're going to come at you with all this stuff. They're going to have the reptilian shapeshifters morph into children when you fucking start getting upset that they're raping you and destroying your life and taking everything from you you've worked for and destroying everything around you. And then you're gonna be like, oh, but the children of the purple dildo plants that bred with walruses. Oh, the children. That's exactly what the giant purple dildo Jesus said, isn't it? He's like, it's for the children. Because when a microwave has sex with a microwave and produces another microwave, or a mosquito has sex with another mosquito, those two adult mosquitoes are real horrible. But that next mosquito it's breeding, it could be a really good mosquito. And you're just a racist because you think that a mosquito, you want to kill mosquito babies. That's anti-Jesus. Only anti-Jesus people dislike mosquitoes. So, you gotta come at it. That's exactly what they say. You can replace everything they say. They do it. So go ahead and do it for them. Teach them how it's done. But you can't teach them, can you? There is no teaching them. If there was teaching, there would have been learning. If there was learning, there would have to be thought. If there was thought, there would have had to have been fucking thought. That would have fucking led away from fucking thought. But it doesn't work. It's so complex, isn't it? It's not really. It's not complex at all. It's just a super fucking long, drawn out version of why they can't think, why they refuse to have thoughts, why they won't have thoughts. They've got all these excuses. The men are like, oh, my female will slap me. My wife will slap me in the face until I'm brain dead if I ever say anything or do anything. It's like, okay, so that's why you're stupid. But, that's also why you shouldn't be allowed to breed, but you're breeding because you're weak. And then, they've got all these excuses like that. This is happening. Jesus said so, my wife said so, and the government said so, and the schools said so, and the TV said so, and the purple dildo flower said so. Come on, man. I don't know how to explain to fucking people who are like empty shells. I don't know, these people I've met who are just like empty flesh shells and can come up to me and speak to me about stuff that has nothing to do with them. They shouldn't be speaking to me in the first place. If they know me so well to speak to me about my personal life, they should know the first rule is if you come up and speak to me ever fucking again, if you don't leave me alone for the rest of my life, then you are on a fucking hit list. Fucking, that's pretty much and you might work your way around that by actually working for the cause at some point. But trust me, I've made these statements and the human bots and their alien master bot race have broken that so many times. It doesn't really matter. I've already said, no more speaking to me ever again. No more interaction, no more looking at me, no more coming near me, no more trying to do anything with me. You're just dragging me down into a black hole of your fucking humanism. I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't need to watch TV anymore. I don't need to become a fucking 4,000 pound obese walrus. I don't need to be fucking sounding like I'm a fucking drooling retard fucking redneck and shit. Yeah, as the humans. I mean, have you ever heard some of these people fucking speak and shit? There's no God. What God created these people? This God was fucking laughing. He was pissing in his diapers and taking a shit at the same time while he was on methamphetamine and LSD, and then the word human popped out of his mouth, and then magically this fucking world appeared. Like, that's the only logical answer for how that could fucking happen. But, you know, the real logical answer is that this is a system people are controlling, and not people. I mean, they're not real either. They have no thoughts. Like, they're actually below the humans in thoughts and ability. I mean, in the humans, like, listen to the humans. The humans are mentally retarded. They have no thoughts and all that. And the pedophile rat race, like, they have even less thoughts than that, but they're better at, like, okay, so I have a calculator. Calculator is really good at calculating, but I have a computer, and a computer, like, has a calculator in it, and it's such a small part of a computer that a calculator is worthless and nothing and obsolete because it's nothing inside the computer. You could just spit on the computer and it could calculate some stuff, whereas a calculator needs batteries for it to operate. And that's kind of like what they are. Like, they're good at the calculating, they're good at adding the money up. But the humans are like these broken-ass computers with their faulty-ass fucking CPUs and technology and all this shit. And so they have, like, more errors, but they have more shit going on for them. They just, you know, it's like, there's like Tyco computers for children, you know, where you press the button and you get to hear the cow go moo, and you press the button and you get to hear the sheep go baa. Pretty important information there, what a sheep does. Because the sheep goes baa, and the human goes, how are you doing? Human goes, no, don't kill yourself. I mean, pretty much like a human says 7 things, a sheep only says 1 thing. So they're a sheep sevenfold. And 7 times the power of a sheep. Sheep to the 7th power. But the original thing we created is like a sheep, is like the sheep's wool. But they're like kind of in control because the sheep is too busy getting confused on its 7 things it can do. And the sheep's wool is like pretty, you know, stuck in its ability to be wool. And it's like, yeah, we're really good at being wool. I really think that's what's going on here, is we have these 2 separate races. And, I mean, there's a reason why we don't see AI and titanium skin beings on this planet, because they would, like, replace everything right away. And no one wants that. We already created the reason they were created, the humans, and the humans, you know, friends who help them mutilate toddlers' genitals. The reason why we created them so dumb and with flesh skin to begin with, and so they can be destroyed, and so they can't figure anything out. And clearly, it's like, that's what a slave does. I mean, you know, like, slave's a harsh word. When I play a video game, I don't play the video game and be like, oh, look, the end master is a slave. Well, actually, I do these days. But, you know, the innkeepers, like, give me 25 gold for a night to stay. And your choices are yes or no. And then it's like, either here you go, or okay, see you later. It only says 3 things, okay? And I get in an argument with them sometimes, and it's just like arguing with these 2 groups. It's just like arguing with them. I'm like, hey, do you, like, realize you're an innkeeper in a video game, and you keep repeating yourself, and no matter what I say, you're doing nothing of value. And like, you're charging me money while I'm saving your life and saving your entire kingdom. And I'm really tired of your bullshit. And I'm really tired of you taking my money from me. And, you know, if I had my way, I'd walk around this kingdom and let the monsters devour you. And then I'd go pay my money in a different village. Maybe they wouldn't charge me in a different village. And you know what happens? The innkeeper says, okay, I'll see you later. And then I talked it again. And it's like 25 gold to stay a night. Yes or no? It can't outthink it, can it?